Happy Friday, traders. It is the 8th of April, 2016. It's 8:01 a.m. Chicago time. Thanks for joining me. Another week coming to an end. A fair amount of movement. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The overall sentiment overnight is to the risk side. Oil is currently up 5.6%, 5.6%, up $2.13 at 39.39. Followed by the Euro stocks, which are up almost 2%. The DAX up 1.73%. The Russell 0.9. The S&P 500 0.86. NASDAQ 0.83, the Dow 0.72, and I'm seeing the usual suspects on the downside this morning. The bonds, the U.S. bonds, are the lowest in my universe that I'm looking at on the overnight. The bonds are down 23 ticks, 0.43%. And gold is also down 0.11%. The overall market sentiment is allocation to risk. The sentiment is bullish this morning from the overnight session. As far as what we're expecting for today, we have the 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock New York U.S. wholesale inventories expecting negative 0.2. U.S. wholesale trade sales month on month expecting 0.2. So negative 0.2 and 0.2. Baker Hughes rig count at noon Central, 1 New York time. And this morning we have ECB Speaker Nowotny. Nowotny caused the move earlier this week. He's expected to talk in about 12 minutes. Okay, that's how things are shaping up. Other than that, it really is about the auction. So let's start off with what we expected for yesterday. Let's switch this to 1080p, and this was what was expected yesterday. I was being modest yesterday with my expectations, given that we were opening at 2048 in range, in value, following a trend day. This day was a trend day up here. We closed right at the top. We still have a weak high on this day. We did take it out overnight as expected, as we always expect for a trend day with that closes at the high. We expect that auction to continue higher. So we still have that weak high up there at 2061.75 or whatever it is. So my expectation is, it's likely to chop around on the open, possibly make an attempt higher. I did not expect it over 2057, and then the expectation it would rotate to 2040.50. 2040.50 taken, and I didn't get into this, but 2040.50 taken would lead us to a retest of the 2035. 2035 break would lead us to what? A notorious level at this point, 2026. If you recall from last week, we've talked about this level a ton. I didn't go over those additional levels because I really wasn't expecting that much movement. But when we look at what happened yesterday, in actuality, and there it is, 2026 to the tick, and the market bounced back up to attempt to get back into this balance zone. Now, despite the fact that it came down to 2026, we are still in this large balance here. So when we look at it, we're still in this chop zone that we started forming on the 28th with 2040.50 and 2057.25 adjusted one tick up. If you have flex levels, this level should have moved up this morning on its own. The point of control shifted up a little bit on the 6th, and we walked away from it. So the 6th, here we are pushing higher, the 7th pushing lower, and now we're trading in between. So what I'm going to do this morning is create a profile just of these 2 days, to see what's going on in between. So let me adjust it to make sure that it is picking up the right days, correct. And let's change the color on this profile just to make it stand out a little bit. And here we are. So based on these 2 days of trading, we have an upper distribution, a middle distribution, and the bulk of the volume is down below. The market's trading right here, right now. It's trading the high volume node of the middle distribution. This morning, watching 2045 carefully. That's a single print on your market profile, and it's the LVN from yesterday, the key LVN from yesterday, with a key target above of 2055, 2055 above us. The floor beneath us for buyers, I believe, is 2035. For those who watch liquidity and have the S5 bookmap or something, you're probably noticed that there was a ton of liquidity that just keeps showing up all across this 34, 50, 35 area. We saw it again yesterday. We break through, we push back up to 35. And we're seeing that level over and over and over. And in fact, we were doing a walkthrough yesterday of an execution review on the 22nd of March, and we saw that exact same level, the 35, which was a queue for 2 trades, 3 trades, 2 shorts, 1 long. And so this area here has been instrumental for a little bit of time. So these are the areas to watch. When we look at the overnight session is on a tear. It dropped early, so we had this early drop right here with Feds Yellen, Bernanke, Greenspan speaking at an engagement sponsored by, I think, JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, I don't remember. And then from there, it's up, up, up we go. There's no consensus on value. There's a large point of control, relatively large. The volume is higher than it's been in the last several Globex sessions, 315,000 versus 296 and 269 in the last couple of sessions. And we have this base below us of 2046 and a quarter. It's important to watch that this morning. Again, if it gets through that 2046, I'm looking for some sort of support down at 2045. The expectation this morning for our hypothesis, should I stop and take a breath for a moment? The expectation this morning is for it to get responsive, open. It's likely to open auction in range. I'm not seeing a huge incentive for an OTD or an OD, an open drive. It is opening in this large volume area built over these 2 days. The expectation is it's likely to push through this 46 and a quarter. We're likely to see a fair amount of liquidity here on 2046 and a quarter. It's likely to push to 2045, and I am looking for it to base. I'm looking for an area to stock long for a rotation back up to 2057. I expect it to chop around and then potentially attack this 2060 above. Now, with that being said, we do have a fair amount of range already, and it is Friday. The low of the overnight session is 2030 and a quarter, 2030 and a quarter. Carrying that to 2060 and a quarter gives us 30 points of range. 30 points of range has less than a 5% probability currently. And so I'm not too keen here on pushing the longs. Yes, I want to push the longs right now because the market stance is such that it is the more probable play, but you don't want to overstay these. If I can get 2057s from 2045s, that would be ideal. The secondary hypothesis is that given that we have a trend day profile in the overnight and the strength we've seen, chances are we might continue to push through as folks cover short positions on the open in the equities, and then we're likely to see sellers step in and take this right back to 2040. chop around, and then continue to close the gap and retest at 2035, brings us back to the close. So with that action, number two here, with that action, we would be closing the point of control, and we would be back into this high volume node below. That's how things are shaping up. I hope that you have gathered from listening on a daily basis over the last however long you've been here, a couple years or a couple months or a couple weeks, that Fridays are tricky. Fridays are days where you need to back off a little bit, become much more selective, be much more picky about the spots you want to go with on a Friday. There's a lot that could happen on a Friday in that the market could be counterintuitive. We don't have any, special expirations or anything like that, and we don't have a holiday. But still, you wouldn't want to go into the weekend with a big loss on a Friday. Those are not fun weekends. So your goal today is to find the opportunities that make sense and just be picky about those as opposed to making a mistake or making a push and then suddenly getting caught up in the action, getting caught up emotionally in what's going on. That's a very costly way to do business, and I'm sure myself and everybody else who's trading the ES would love nothing more than to take your money when you start to trade off your gut, when you start to feel like the market's going to go, or you start to feel like things are going to happen, or you feel like it should go or must or whatever. Just be smart, read the action as it is, and respond. Figure out where you're wrong and respond, and let the trades do what they have to do. I expect that the session will likely be very quiet in the afternoon and into the closing range trade. So the chunk between noon Eastern and about 3 Eastern is likely to be quite slow today, given the amount of activity that's occurred already overnight. Remember, today we have 23 points of range on the buy side. That's already extended statistically. Good luck, and I'll catch you on Monday. Take care.